BassResinator here. I was commissioned by a doctor who has a young son who's really liking Jurassic Park stuff. And his favorite dinosaur right now is the Mosasaur. Well, I am not a good carver, so I went and bought this toy, and I'm going to try and make a mold out of it, but I don't know if you can see this. You see how it's connected? There's a seam right here. Well, I'm going to have to doctor that up, plus the mouth opens and closes, so it leaves this gap. I don't like that. I want it open, so I'm going to have to doctor that up, and I'm going to use stuff called Culture Sculpt. Here, just a second. Ignore the little things around the edge. I just wanted you to be able to see. I want to be able to hold that open, so I need to put some of that Culture Sculpt stuff right along in here, as well as down inside. Oh, you can't see down in there very well, but that, I think what I ought to do, well, let me get some of that stuff mixed up and I'll show you how it's going to work. Now, this stuff, if it's not too dry, hopefully it isn't, it mixes together in equal portions, and I don't know how well it's going to stick on this. If it doesn't do too well, then I'm going to have to come up with some other type of thing, but I'm hoping it'll work. But it just mixed together equal amounts. Okay, it's still flexible, but this stuff is going to stick to my gloves. I'm probably going to have to get another pair of gloves after this process. It feels so weird, this stuff here. I need a little bit more. It feels like air, if that even makes sense. Does air feel? I don't know. And you just sit and mix them together. Oh, until they are sufficiently combined so there's not two separate colors. One was a little bit yellow, one was white. Then what I'm going to do after I get this situated the way I want, then I'm going to make, I have this new paint on silicone. Saw Steve McDonald using it, and I thought, oh, let me try some of that. So I ordered some. All for this one thing. Now, I'm not going to do the whole animal. I'm only going to do certain parts. Oh, come on, stay up there. I need just a little bit for inside his mouth. It's like dental surgery here. Like giving a dog or a cat a pill. Stuff it down in there. don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. Dotting tool in there too. It's a longer point and it's smaller, so I can get down. Oh, don't you close on me now. But he wants this dinosaur, and I told him I would like to make it like a wall hanging. And the doctor, I was talking to him, and he goes, make it happen. And I said, okay. So I like it when I'm given a little bit of artistic license. Okay, can I? No, my finger's way too big. Okay. Get that. I'm trying to get that texture. Because now it's just bumpy. I want it to. Ah. See if you can see it on in there. A little better. Now, to get this side, this underside, I was watching a video, Johnny Dark, and he's been using some clay lately, and he said there was somebody that inspired him, and he said the only way you get better is just do it. So that's what I'm trying to do, just try and blend it in with the surface that's already there. But just cover over that big crack that was where the mouth mechanism opened. But I'm going to do this in pieces, and it's going to be the head coming out of the water, and parts of the tail are going to be seen at a lower depth. It is going to be an elaborate piece when I get it all done. But, you know, when there's a kid that's really into something, if it doesn't look good enough, never going to be appreciated. So, great, get that chunk of thing hanging on my Then I'll let this set up. back with that attempt at using the paint on or brush on silicone. Now to give it some texture. Stay. See, that's what I'm afraid of. It's going to be so dry it won't stick on here well. Because it's definitely not supple. This, there we go. Okay, that's looking pretty decent. Now I'll just let that dry up. Well, I wonder if I can do something along here too. If not, I'm thinking I'll have to melt it. Yeah, that's not staying. Without bumping it too much, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this front section too. I'm thinking about doing the flippers by themselves, and I'll be able to stick those on by my. So I may just do that head and not even worry about that line. Just make the silicone cap right here, and then do a flipper with his side and back, and then I want this part of his tail. I hope you like it. I hope he likes it too. So yeah, I got cleanup to do now. It's gonna be cool. I'm gonna make it look good. I mean, it's a commission piece. It's gonna be something special for his kid. So there's no way I'm gonna mess this one up. Besides, I like watching Jurassic Park things too. I've always been fascinated with dinosaurs and stuff. In fact, when that movie first came out, it scared me to death because I used to have nightmares about dinosaurs like that chasing me. Okay, put those tools away. I'll clean up and I'll come back when it's time to do the paint on silicone. See ya. Okay, I just poured in, I haven't mixed it up yet, a little over an ounce of this brush on silicone rubber from J. Diction. 10 to 15 minute curing, and I have 3 minutes to mix. So here I go. Now I am reusing this mixing pot, so there was some other color down there, so don't think that's the color of the silicone. Silicone is kind of a grayish white. Trying to mix slowly enough so I don't introduce too many bubbles. They said one way to alleviate bubbles on the instructions, it says, is to put on a very thin coat first. So that's what I'm going to try and do. hopefully this just won't run all over the place. But just in case, I have these paper towels down. And I'll come back to you real quick. Okay, while I was mixing, I decided, you know, paper towel is probably not the best surface. So I went and got some parchment paper, which I know will it'll come off of that a lot easier. I'm just using the mixing stick right now to paint this on. It comes with this real flimsy silicone brush. I mean, flimsy, that's not the good word. It's real soft. But I'm trying to do it with this first and then maybe spread it with the brush. I don't want to get that brush all messed up and then have to just keep going over it with it and cleaning it out all the time. So if I can do it with this little stick, it's already got the stuff on there. Well, so far so good. And then in 15 minutes I'll come back and put another coat over the top of this and build it up till I get a good mold. A little bit of cracking on that. I left this culture, that stuff right there, that white, to dry most of the day. Hopefully it holds up. For this process. I got some falling off. Hope it stays on enough to where I get a coat that I can use. Don't think you're supposed to do it this way, but you know, that's the way I'm doing it right now. So if I can keep it on, get a good coat this way, then so far it looks good there. And there, now to get inside that mouth. This is going to be fun getting this out. But even if it's only a one-time mold, if I can get the Mosasaur made, that's the important thing. get it down around that tongue, because that's a lot of detail. And these teeth, gotta make sure we get some teeth in there too. Getting the glove in it now. All that detail around the tongue. Stay in there. Maybe I'll do this side first. And then get the other on the next bit that I do. I need to get some of this texture on the back, so I might as well get it out now. And I need a flipper, at least one. So go over it. Since I still have this silicone in the cup, I might as well use it up. Sorry about that. Smacked my head right on the camera. Feels sort of like a plastic surgeon with this, huh? I'm going to need a little bit on this tail. Because I'm going to need that part. I'm going to have this, the feature that I'm making is going to be a wall art type of thing. But I'm going to have it sort of like pictures you've seen of Loch Ness Monster, where you see it just undulating out of the water. You don't see the whole thing. Well, that's what I'm going to do with this guy. That's my intent. This part of him is out of the water. Some of the rest of this is going to be under the water in the mold. I mean, in the resin piece that I'm making. If I can make it look like what I have in my mind, this is going to be one amazing piece. Now, this is a toy that I was able to purchase to make my master, but I'm not making an exact duplicate. And this is a one-time thing, but if you were wanting this toy, I'm going to link it in the description as well. So that if you want to do something like this, you can. You don't want to mix up too much of this because you're not going to use it all at once. So mix up what you're going to use and then come back and make another batch after a while, which is what I will do. Okay, that's it for this round. We'll see you. Well, back with the Mosasaur. I used what's the name of that stuff? Intense Chameleon Fairy Green, and I mixed it in the resin. I didn't dust the mold. So you come up with this, and I think that looks a lot more realistic. Now I got to put some eyes in there, because the eyes that were there's the tail fluke. I got that made. And there's his back. Some of it's going to be coming up out of the water like the Loch Ness Monster. So, yeah. I'm getting it done. Now, here's the deal. Do I use this type of eye? Can you see it? I can't see it because the little mechanism is right in the way. Okay, so there's that eye. Or this eye. I'm thinking this one will look a lot neater because it's got that like holographic type stuff going on. So I drilled out a hole in the head. You got a hole in your head. Okay, let me turn this eye over so I don't get that stuck on me, because it will stick. These are the 3mm eyes that you can get in those glass eye sets. And I got to make sure that they are dragon eyes, so they got to be that iris has to be facing up. Really? Come on, there we go. Gee whiz. I'm going to use Let's Resin UV for bonding. And this is the part that's going to be sticking up out of the water. I'm going to have to I'm going to paint his tongue and his teeth with some acrylic marker paints that I've got. And then I'm going to work on the, oh, look at that. It looks so cool. Yes. Oh man, is that so much better than what it had? Hoo 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 hoo. Perfect size. Looks like some of those teeth, well, most of them, I'm I'm gonna have to fix those. Looks like an old dinosaur. They're all nubs. Ah. There, can you see that? But those teeth are all nubbies, so I'm gonna have to go in with some type of UV resin. To repair those teeth. Become a dentist here, huh? The island of misfit toys. They need that dentist coming with Rudolph. Anybody watch those Christmas cartoon things, cartoon specials? This is gonna work nice. Nicely, nicely, nicely. Oh, yes. That's cool. Very cool. Okay. Now, I will work on the teeth. Probably just put a little dab of UV resin, and then I'll paint them, and paint the inside of the mouth, and then I'll be ready to come back with the rest. Okay, we'll see ya. BassResinator here. This is going to be a wall piece. And I'm going to try and create this really dark, murky water systems down here. Because we're going to have the fluke of this mosasaur coming up out of the water like this. His back coming at a different angle. And then his head coming out. Roar, look at that. Painted it with acrylic paint markers. But yeah, so we're gonna put some layers down. But first we gotta make this look really murky. Now I got the fins, the front flippers that are gonna be there. Okay, in order to create this murky darkness, I'm going to be using these two colors. And I'm going to mix and match to try and, it's going to all move back together, but I want to try and keep it to where it looks like movement in the water, So, let me get the resin mixed up now. Okay, I mixed mostly. I want to spray a little bit of alcohol in these corners because I'm not going to be able to see them very well. Mostly the deep space blue. And remember, this is just my foundation of the murky depths. And that's all going to start moving together. Let me go around wiping that cup so it doesn't drip all over everything. And then go around real quick to make sure we don't have any bubbles trying to hide out in those corners or around the edge, which is what bubbles like to do. Now if I can sort of get this like a marble effect on there, that's what I'm hoping to get. That's a pretty color. Don't know what that's going to do as far as it cures, how it's going to react and how it's going to move, but we'll see, because that's the sea, or the big tank where it was. This mosasaur was being held in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. Okay, there are a bunch of bubbles, and I'm going to spray over the top because I mixed fast. But I wasn't really worried about bubbles so much because this is the bottom layer, if that makes sense. There, we're starting to get some cool movement happening. Now, whenever resin cures, it pulls in from the edges, and as it pulls in, it's making a different pattern, but with this other blue in there, hopefully we'll get some really cool stuff happening. Okay, I'll come back to you when that cures up enough to where we can do the next step. This is cured up, and I haven't decided whether I want to stick this down here now. I'm trying to figure out how high that would be on the wall, because I don't know if I want this completely full. I don't think I do, because that would be awfully heavy on the wall. But if I do, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to stick this back down. And I'm going to get close to where, with the pour that I'm going to do right now, it's going to get close to the top of that. What's the deal with that? I have the battery in backwards? Yep. Wonder it's not turning on. There we are. I just charged the battery. It helps if you got it the correct way. And I'm thinking about having the fluke come out back here. And I'm going to pour on this level, or this round of the pour is going to be using Tropical Glitz Ready to Spray Paint Eclipse Blue and Eclipse Green. Okay. Which are dark, and eerie, which fits perfectly with dinosaurs, I think. Now, there's not very much of a point for this to hold on to. have to put a little bit more UV resin on there. Now I've already mixed up the resin. I've got about 8.5, 9 ounces, and I've got the green and the blue. Yeah, that's holding better now. So and this Eclipse, oh, wait till you see this stuff. This is just amazing. See that sparkle? It's a really dark color, but there's sparkle. What is that? Don't want something come floating up. Now this is the Eclipse Blue. And then I'm going to come in. You can still see the pattern of that blue underneath, but I'm going to need to put in, I'm going to have to paint like a body, like a silhouette type of a body on the, after that cures up. So that's my plan for the next layer. Just let that go for a while. There's no bubbles. I know it looks like bubbles, but that's just the sparkle of that Eclipse Blue and Eclipse Green. These are cool. Everything I'm using in here is going to be listed in the description, so if you're ever interested in doing this. And then his head's going to come out. But that's for future pours. Okay, we'll see ya. Well, I'm back, and I have done a few things. I've got some shells over here in a little bag, and I put them down there to give some texture, and then I painted over it with some acrylic paint. And then I used a little bit of purple UV resin to create these back fins, and some of this green up here on his neck. And I stuck these things down with the UV resin for bonding. So now, and I did the same color as I did earlier, but I added in a little bit of Lagoon and Smurf octopus inks to give it a little bit more depth. I can still see the colors underneath through this, but I wanted to be able to cover up a lot of this stuff where I didn't have the full Mosasaur. Yeah, we're starting to get the illusion that there's something under there, but we don't know what. Whatever it is, it's not what we want to see. This is cool. Now, go with the green. Now I have a little bit more, and I want to do something gross. Now I'm all sticky. I'm going to do some cool stuff. Hopefully you'll think it's cool. In order for this to look like it's actually come through the water, I'm getting the roof of his mouth. All those acrylic paints that I used on the teeth and the roof of the mouth and the tongue, I want to have a coat of resin on, so there we go. Now, pour a little bit more in here, and then I want to cause movement, some more movement. So I'm going to use the Deep Blue Wonder, and I'm going to put a little bit of that in the rest of the resin that I have, which is the greenish one, remember? So this is going to cause an interesting color. Don't know exactly what it is. You know, I'm going to do this. Just to get those bubbles off the top. Now, can you see body underneath? I can. I hope this stays somewhat close to right there and not move too much. And then when this cures up, I'll be able to go over with some UV thick, what is it called? High viscosity, and put some ripples and then paint over those with white and blue. This is looking cool. Okay, let me bring you down. Look at that sparkle in there. The depth is happening. This thing's going to pop off the wall. Or he may be able to stand it. Yeah, he'll be able to stand it. It's over an inch thick, deep. Can't wait till it's cured. Okay, that has cured up enough to where I can put this last little bit on. I'm going to be using nice and thick from Counterculture DIY. It will make it to where I can almost be able to go up vertically and it'll stay there. but I have to mix it up just right. So in order for it to be able to go vertical like that, it needs to be able to be mixed at 1-to-1 with the amount of resin I have in here. So it is super light. This is 8 ounces, but it weighs, I think the jar is what weighs. The stuff itself is just flaky powder. And I'm going to use a little bit of white. I'm not worrying about bubbles because he's supposed to be frothing it up right here, you know. Oh, what is that? There. A little piece of I don't know what. I just got done performing the last Valley Symphony Chorale concert for this year. Now, we have another concert in March, but that's next year. But we did our Christmas thing, mostly a cappella music tonight, and that was fun. I'm going to add a bit of white colorant. I'm going to use ocean white paste. Look how I went back with a toothpick and stirred up a little bit to cause that. I really like it. Now what I want to do is have this white and have it be like he's frothing and coming out. So I want white action around his flippers, and some around his chin where he's coming up out of the water. I'm seeing see if I can build up a little bit around his neck like he's coming out and pushing the water up because he's jumping. I don't know if you remember seeing the movie yet. Right at the end, he comes up and munches on something. I don't remember exactly what it was, of either a person or a helicopter or something. Maybe I'm thinking of Jaws. I don't know, but that's what I'm trying to recreate. And hopefully, I sent pictures to the doctor. I said, I'm really getting excited about this. And he goes, oh man, I can't wait to see it in person. And it's thick enough, it'll be able to stand up, or, you know, we can mount it on a wall, or... Okay, so let me get my ocean white paste. Come on. I've had this over a year. It's starting to get thick too. I don't need much in here. There we go. Because the flaky stuff that I'm going to be putting on there is white color. Oh, I didn't tell you how much I mixed up. This is only in metric, so I mixed up 40 milliliters. Now I'm going to have to mix it, put this in over here. I'll show you what it looks like, but I don't want it blowing. It's just this powder. I'll be right back. I gotta mix it slowly so that it doesn't go popping out, and I better not breathe on there. I'm going to keep coming back as this starts curing up a little bit in the pot. It'll be a bit thicker, and maybe I'll get to have more movement coming up out of the water. Oh yeah, this is... drip. Just like I want it on the chin. There, now hang. Stay there. Oh, that would be cool if I can get that to be accomplished. Okay, I'm just going to keep working at this. And I'll come back to you when it's time to unmold this baby. Yes, it's going to be fun. We'll see ya. Okay, I want to let you know what I did is I went around with some UV resin, and I used the bottom of this. I put UV on here, and then I just dabbed it to cause ripples on the water. I don't know if you've ever seen a crocodile or an alligator male when they start trying to get the attention of females, and they start, and they have this low growl, and it causes the water all around them to dance. Well, that's what I was trying to do here. So that's what we have. Dun, 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 dun. And then I also caused little splatters to go out with that white. And then I put on a little bit of, what is that stuff called? It's the brand new thing I got from Let's Resin. The pearlescent UV. And I added little sparkles here and there so that it just like... And you can see on the bottom he's got drips of water coming off his face like he's just shooting out. Yeah. Now if I just had a person dangling here. Okay, time to get this out. I'm going to put on my gloves just because I don't trust the edges. They're looking mighty sharp, you know. So can't have cuts and then have blood. Well, I guess you could have blood on there, but I'd rather not have the blood. I was just getting songs ready because next week I'm gonna have a review of things that I've done through the year, but you're not gonna hear the regular audio. You're gonna hear Christmas songs going on, me singing all the 4 parts. And then I take out the top 3 parts and just the bass. And then it's your turn to sing along with it. And I'll have the words there for you so that it's going to be fun. I hope. It's fun for me. I had fun singing and getting all that ready. Yeah, I'm going to have to trim a little bit right there. But let us see about this. Look how thick that is. It's over 1 inch thick. Someone's gonna have a nice Christmas. Look at that. I'm wondering, just wondering, if I were to set that on a light, what that would do. Let me see if I can find one of those. Just a second. Well, I do not have a long lamp. I may have lied. I may have one that can go all the way around it. But what I did was I set it on a regular lamp or LED light, and all it does is it lights up about that much. So you really can't see anything. Look there, got dog hairs. I went out to the lamp out there in the living room and dog hair city. If it were sunnier, it'd be really kind of cool to see, but it's not sunny. It's overcast. But you can see through the bottom, like right in there, and you can see the froth on the white on the top, but that's and there too you can see the, man, these dog hairs everywhere. Okay, let me see if I can but it does stand up because it's thick enough. Microfiber cloth to the rescue. The bottom is really pretty too. You know, look at that bottom. It looks like you could see the outline of that creature down here. Pretty cool. I am liking this. Well, there was no Mosasaurus mold, so I made my own thingy. Well, I don't know the boy's name, but I think he's going to have a pretty good Christmas here. And wonder if I do a regular flashlight. I mean a UV flashlight. You can see some of the image of the body below it, where I painted. Yeah. What I really wanted to do, and I told the doctor when I was doing this, I wanted to have the back coming out sort of like a Loch Ness Monster type of thing. You see the tail, you see that, and you see the head. This part's coming up. He's given a flip here to propel him to come up and munch on whatever. Yeah. This is cool. And he's got a little bit of water in his mouth. Yeah. Let me bring you down for a closer look. There's a drop of, see the tail has some of that frothiness coming off of it, and then it has a drop. And then you can see the water bubbling. And the water dripping off from where he's coming through, stirring it all up. Zoom in on that eye. Wow. Yeah, this took some time. He kept asking me, are you ready with it? And I'm like, no, man, when I don't have a mold, I gotta create from scratch. And anyway, hope you have enjoyed this adventure. Man, this was fun, and I'm liking the results, and I hope he does too, and I know the boy will, because he's really into dinosaurs. So Flipper's got a drop of water hanging off. Yeah, cool. If you were a 7-year-old and really liked dinosaurs, would you like this? Standing up on your desk or up against the, on a table up against the wall. Looking at it this way. There's all the stuff that I used to make it. Woo. Well, if you're a subscriber of mine, thank you so very much for hanging with me through all of this. I didn't get to show you all of the details, partly because sometimes I was having to charge my phone. Because this wasn't your ordinary video. But anyway, yeah, I really like that eclipse stuff in that water. And, I can still see through down underneath where I put that lighter blue against the darker blue on the mica powders, the deep blue against the deep space blue. You can still see that pattern of movement. Cool. Well, if you're a subscriber, thank you so very much. If you are not and you would like to be, it's free. Just click on the button that says subscribe down below. It's a big old button. Doesn't cost you anything. Just click that, and then there's a button right next to it of a little bell. If you click that, then anytime I do something new, you'll be notified. Yeah. I do have channel memberships if you want to support the channel that way. It's not required, but if you would like to, click the button that says join. I would really appreciate that. What I would really like is if you could just leave a comment, because that helps my algorithm with YouTube. Wow. Stick around. I'll have some pictures of this, some stills. Man, this is fun. This was a lot of fun. But this is a one of a kind. Okay. We'll see you for the next one.